Welcome to our Lebanon channel. Tripoli is the largest city in northern Lebanon and the second largest city in the country. Situated 85 kilometers (53 miles) north of the capital Beirut, it is the capital of the North Governorate and the Tripoli district. Tripoli overlooks the eastern Mediterranean Sea, and it is the northernmost seaport in Lebanon. It holds a string of 4 small islands offshore, and they are also the only islands in Lebanon. The Palm Islands were declared a protected area because of their status of haven for endangered loggerhead turtles, Chelona midas, rare monk seals and migratory birds. Tripoli borders the city of El Mina, the port of the Tripoli district, which it is geographically conjoined with to form the Greater Tripoli conurbation. The history of Tripoli dates back at least to the 14th century BCE. The city is well known for containing the largest Crusader fortress in Lebanon, the citadel of Raymond de St. Gilles, and it has the second highest concentration of Mamluk architecture after Cairo. With the formation of Lebanon and the 1948 breakup of the Syrian-Lebanese Customs Union, Tripoli, once on par in economic and commercial importance to Beirut, was cut off from its traditional trade relations with the Syrian hinterland and therefore declined in relative prosperity. Tripoli had a number of different names as far back as the Phoenician age. In the Amarna letters the name Derbli, possibly a Semitic cognate of the cities, was mentioned, and in other places Alia or Walia are mentioned 14th century BCE. In an engraving concerning the invasion of Tripoli by the Assyrian king Ashurnasirpal II (888–859 BCE), it is called Mahalata or Malata, Mesa, and Kesa. Under the Phoenicians, the name Atha was used to refer to Tripoli. When the ancient Greeks settled in the city they called it Tripolis, meaning three cities, influenced by the earlier phonetically similar but etymologically unrelated name Derbli, to distinguish it from the Libyan city with the same name. Today, Tripoli is also known as Al-Fahar, which is a term derived from the Arabic verb faha, which is used to indicate the diffusion of a scent or smell. Tripoli was once known for its vast orange orchards. During the season of blooming, the pollen of orange flowers was said to be carried on the air, creating a splendid perfume which filled the city and suburbs. History. Overview of historical districts in Tripoli. Evidence of settlement in Tripoli dates back as early as 1400 BCE. In the 9th century, the Phoenicians established a trading station in Tripoli, and later, under Persian rule, the city became the center of a confederation of the Phoenician city-states of Sidon, Tyre, and Arados Island. Under Hellenistic rule, Tripoli was used as a naval shipyard and the city enjoyed a period of autonomy. It came under Roman rule around 64 BCE. The 551 Beirut earthquake and tsunami destroyed the Byzantine city of Tripoli along with other Mediterranean coastal cities. During Umayyad rule, Tripoli became a commercial and shipbuilding center. It achieved semi-independence under Fatimid rule, when it developed into a center of learning. The Crusaders laid siege to the city at the beginning of the 12th century and were able finally to enter it in 1109. This caused extensive destruction, including the burning of Tripoli's famous library, Dar al-Ilm, House of Knowledge, with its thousands of volumes. During the Crusaders' rule the city became the capital of the county of Tripoli. In 1289, it fell to the Mamluks and the old port part of the city was destroyed. A new inland city was then built near the old castle. During Ottoman rule from 1516 to 1918, it retained its prosperity and commercial importance. Tripoli and all of Lebanon was under French mandate from 1920 until 1943 when Lebanon achieved independence. Ancient period. Many historians reject the presence of any Phoenician civilization in Tripoli before the 8th or sometimes 4th century BCE. Others argue that the north-south gradient of Phoenician port establishments on the Lebanese coast indicates an earlier age for the Phoenician Tripoli. Tripoli has not been extensively excavated because the ancient site lies buried beneath the modern city of El Mina. However, a few accidental finds are now in museums. Excavations in El Mina revealed skeletal remains of ancient wolves, eels, and gazelles, part of the ancient southern port quay, grinding mills, different types of columns, wheels, bows, and an acropolis from the end of the Hellenistic period. A sounding made in the Crusader castle uncovered late Bronze Age, Iron Age, in addition to Roman, Byzantine, and Fatimid remains. At the Abu Halka area at the southern entrance of Tripoli, refuges dating to the early 30,000 years old and Middle Stone Age were uncovered. Ruins in Tripoli. Tripoli became a financial center and main port of northern Phoenicia with sea trade East Mediterranean and the West, and caravan trade North Syria and hinterland. Under the Seleucids, Tripoli gained the right to mint its own coins 112 BCE. It was granted autonomy between 104 and 105, which it retained until 64 BCE. At the time, Tripoli was a center of shipbuilding and cedar timber trade like other Phoenician cities. During the Roman and Byzantine period, Tripoli witnessed the construction of important public buildings including municipal stadium or gymnasium due to strategic position of the city midway on the imperial coastal highway leading from Antioch to Ptolemais. In addition, Tripoli retained the same configuration of three distinct and administratively independent quarters: Aradians, Sidonians, and Tyrians. The territory outside the city was divided between the three quarters. Umayyad, Abbasid and Fatimid periods. Tripoli gained in importance as a trading center for the whole Mediterranean after it was inhabited by the Arabs. Tripoli was the port city of Damascus, the second military port of the Arab Navy, following Alexandria, a prosperous commercial and shipbuilding center, a wealthy principality under the Kutama Ismaili Shia Banu Ammar emirs. During a visit by the traveller Nazir-I Khusrau in 1047, he estimated the size of the population in Tripoli to be around 20,000 and the whole population were Shia Muslims. And according to Nazir Khusrau, the Fatimid Sultan raised a mighty army from Tripoli to defend it against Byzantine, Frankish, Andalusian and Moroccan invasions and raids. Legally, Tripoli was part of the jurisdiction of the military province of Damascus Dimashq. Crusader period. Citadel of Raymond de Saint Gilles. The city became the chief town of the county of Tripoli, Latin Crusader state of the Levant, extending from Byblos to Latakia and including the plain of Akkar with the famous Crac des Chevaliers. Tripoli was also the seat of a bishopric. Tripoli was home to a busy port and was a major center of silk weaving, with as many as 4,000 looms. Important products of the time included lemons, oranges, and sugar cane. For 180 years, during the Frankish rule, Occitan was among the languages spoken in Tripoli and neighboring villages. Citation needed. At that time, Tripoli had a heterogeneous population including Western Europeans, Greeks, Armenians, Maronites, Nestorians, Jews, and Muslims. During the Crusade period, Tripoli witnessed the growth of the inland settlement surrounding the Pilgrim's Mountain, the citadel, into a built-up suburb including the main religious monuments of the city such as, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre of Pilgrim's Mountain incorporating the Shiite shrine, the Church of St. Mary's of the Tower, and the Carmelite Church. The state was a major base of operations for the military order of the Knights Hospitaller, who occupied the famous castle Crac des Chevaliers, today a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The state ceased to exist in 1289, when it was captured by the Egyptian Mamluk Sultan Qalawun. To be continued. Thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe.